Hi, welcome back to the channel. This is my 1963 turbo water boxer powered beetle. This video was supposed to be me showing you how to install a digital dashboard using an Android tablet and the Megasquirt ECU, but instead it's going to be me trying to figure out how I've just broken it. You see, I've had the launch control set up now, and I've been practicing launches ready for when I go racing again. And I was practicing actually doing a burnout. And I've done this. I don't know what I've done yet. I need to get it up in the air. This is the driver's side back wheel, all nice and straight. Come round to the passenger side. Not straight. If I get around here, you might be able to see it's moved back in the wheel arch, and it's toying out quite a lot, and it's making a hell of a noise as if a CV joint has failed, but it doesn't seem to have on a quick inspection. So I'm going to get it up in the air and you and me can figure it out together. Right, it's up in the air, and that is actually the tyre rubbing on the exhaust there. So it looks like the whole hub assembly has moved back. Well, obviously it has, because the wheel's not centered in the arch there, but I don't know why. I'll get the wheel off next and see if I can see anything obvious, I think. Okay, maybe it's not so bad after all. I've just took the wheel off and immediately seen that the swing arm and spring plate have moved. Let me just grab that light so you can see a bit better. See the witness marks there? It's just moved backwards. So hopefully that's going to be an easy fix. I'll just nip those bolts up. I'll get it lined up again, nip those bolts up. I'll probably take the wheel off the other side to measure that one and make sure that one's nice and tight as well. Don't know what the CV joint noise was though. Maybe it's just pulled them a bit too far, because obviously it has moved the drive shaft back a little bit, and maybe they just moved back outside their proper range, or maybe I've destroyed a CV joint as well. But anyway, at least I can get this lined up and hopefully that'll be fixed. Well, that's the wheel back on and it all looks okay, but I can't test it to see if the knocking from the CV joints has stopped, because while I was under there refixing the spring plate, I discovered that this fuel rail is leaking. This is the fuel rail from this side of the engine, and it's got this banjo fitting on the end, which I was never very happy about, but it was all I could think of to use at the time, because there wasn't enough room to have an AN8 like this one welded on. This is AN8 as well. The reason there's not much room is because of where the dump pipe from the wastegate comes out. It used to go, or it does go, down that gap down there, which clashes with the end of the fuel rail. So I think I can get away with shortening this a little bit more, perhaps that liner a bit further, to buy me a bit more space. I'll have a measure up, but I'm also thinking what I'll do is change the exhaust as well. I've got some dimensions of silencers that you can buy, and I'm thinking of sticking one up inside the wing there, pointing down at the floor. And if I do that, I might run the dump pipe straight into the exhaust there. I'm just thinking out loud at the moment, so none of this is carved in stone. Right, so anyway, I think what I'll do is I'll probably cut that down. Well, I'll measure it up first and see if I can get away with cutting it down. Might do that, but then there's a few other little jobs to do as well, so this is going to be a bit of a piecemeal video of me just fixing little things that are annoying me, I think. Obviously starting with, well, on the list is this and the exhaust. The boost gauge hasn't got any power at the moment. I needed to make a steering wheel mount. Where are we? In there, steering wheel mount, so that I can put a button onto the line lock, but I can't wire that up because I haven't got the wire yet. And I also need to make a mount, which is what the original intent of this video was going to be, is to make a mount for a 10-inch tablet which is going to be the digital dashboard. And I can't say digital, the digital dashboard. Oh, I said it. But I'm not sure where I'm going to mount that, because that is bringing its own problems. It's going to obscure the fuel gauge, obscure the speedo, which isn't really such a problem, but that means it's also going to obscure all the idiot lights on the speedo, the oil pressure and generator lights and stuff like that. So I'll need to figure out what I'm going to do about those as well. So yeah, there's going to be no formal format to this video. It's just going to be me fixing things. Hope you enjoy it. Right, just looking at the fuel rail first. This pipe here is the flow that actually fastens on this end and goes round over to the side of the engine. But if I put it on this end, onto the fitting that's already there, I can measure the length from that end of the rail up to there. Now I know that this fits behind the pipe, the dump pipe that goes off there. So if that distance from there to there is less than that distance from there to the line that I put on the back there, then I can cut it on a line. I'll turn it on a bit. There, I've got that line there. So what I'm looking for is from there to there, that distance. Where's that going to fall on there? So, tape measure. That is looking like 60 mil. And that there, 60 mil. Oops, be useless pointing the camera at it, wouldn't it? 60 mil there, from that end to there, puts it right in the middle of the injectors. So that ain't going to work. Yeah, right, I'll have to think about this. I'll be back in a minute. Right, I've got the fuel rail back, shortened, and with the AN-8 fitting on this end here. So I'll change the injector seals, bit of thread lock in the stud that holds it on, and I'll chuck that back on. Mustn't forget to replace the seals on the injectors, which are both there, so that's the next job, and then we can pop the rail back on. Right, there's the rail put back on. I've got the fuel line from the tank connected there with that AN fitting, but you can see the problem here. I've got the injectors plugged in as well. You can see the problem here is that this one that goes over to the other side of the engine, oops, it's leaking a bit of fluid out there, won't go on because that's in the way. Sorry, won't go on there because that's in the way. So I need to pop this exhaust off and get that on quickly while it's still dripping fuel. I thought I'd drained it all out, obviously not. And then redesign the exhaust, I think. Right, that's better. It's all connected up now and not leaking anymore. I'm much more happy about that than I was with the banjo fitting that was on there before. The whole thing's dead solid, it's all plugged in, so that's all good. But now I haven't got any dump pipe from the wastegate, which is just there. And this is very, very close to the exhaust. Look, I don't like that at all. So I've got a load of parts. I'm going to build a new exhaust. I think I might as well take this one off now. It's coming off anyway. I'll get it off, and then I'll start building a new one. One of the little jobs I wanted to get done this weekend is to make a steering wheel mount for my line lock button for the car. So, taking the wheel off, traced around it. So this is the bolt holes where it fixes onto the boss. That's the hole in the middle where the horn push is, and that's where the button's going to go. There. Obviously, not going to make it out of cardboard though. I've got a piece of 4mm aluminium sheet here instead, which I'm going to use. So, the first job is to cut this out and just make sure that it works and that the buttons are in the right place and everything, and then I can transfer it onto the metal and cut that out. That's it cut out, and if I put it behind the wheel so it all lines up, here we are, you can see where the button's going to sit there, which is perfect for my hand to press on line lock. So I will transfer that shape now onto the metal, and then cut it out, and then mark the holes and make it fit. Right, here we go. There we are, that's it traced out. Not really sure the best way to cut aluminium like this, but I'll give it a try with a little with this little thing first and see how that goes. Right, that's the first cut. As bad as it looks, it's actually not that far off where it needs to be. So, given that it's all going to be hidden behind the steering wheel anyway, I'm not too concerned about it getting marks on it from the vise and whatever. So I'm going to peel this protective layer off now, and then get my final lines with a Sharpie or whatever, and then make it fit and make it the right shape exactly. Right, all I need to do now is get it nice and smooth to where those black lines are. Right, it's a week later, I've done a bit more work on this, just needs tidying up around the edges and around there, but that's in the perfect position for me to operate the line lock, and it's nice and sturdy, so it's not going to bend if I press it too hard. Obviously the switch isn't wired in yet, and in this piece here, because of this gap in the steering wheel, what I've done is I've put some black tape on there, some black cloth tape, just so that it's not some plain aluminium behind it, and it hides it quite nicely, I think. So yeah, very happy with that. It needs wiring in, but the next thing to do, which is why the steering wheel's wobbly, is I've taken the clamp off, because I'm going to use the bolts that hold the clamp as the basis for the bracket that's going to come up here and hold the tablet, which is going to be the digital dash. So that's the next step. Make a template and cut that out. So there's the cardboard template, and this is the finished item with a couple of pens in it. So that bolts up under the dashboard like that and holds the tablet holder. Of course, it doesn't hold the tablet holder yet because I haven't figured out how to fix it on. So here is the tablet holder. It's an extending thing, goes up and down, clamps onto it nicely. The current idea is that I'm going to drill a couple of holes in that all the way through, and hang on, like that, so it goes on like that, where those marks are there, like that. The current plan is to drill holes in the holder and put some riv nuts on this and bolt it to it. I think that should be okay, but we will find out when I start. Right, got it all in place now. A few little riv nuts to hold the actual tablet holder to the bracket. It's pretty solid, and if I put the tablet in like so, clamp it down, there is a little sort of lock nut on the back that clamps it into place, but then turn it on, and there we go. I'll need to just move these gauges around, which is dead easy. You just hold on it to enter edit mode, he says, there we are, and then you can just move it wherever you want to move it to, there perhaps. So I just need to do that because the tablet is quite big and the steering wheel obscures most of it. This is my view, my eye line from here, you see, so I'm missing most of the top of the screen there, but that's not a big problem. The big problem is that all the idiot lights on the speedo, on the original speedo, the oil pressure and the generator lights and the turn signal lights and everything are now completely obscured, and obviously the oil pressure is the most important one, so I'm going to need to find some way of replacing those. I've got a set of little lights that I'm going to use, make a little plate, I think, probably under there, or possibly that side there, mounted off the bracket that I've just made, just along here, and I'll just put the lights on there so I can see them clearly. So yeah, that's probably going to be the next thing I do, I think. To solve the warning light problem, I've made this little template and I've got these little lights here. So we've got a blue one for high beam, red one for oil pressure, amber for generator, and green for indicators. And I've made this template, it's just a piece of cardboard, but it will sit like that, on the tablet mount, and the little lights will go where those marks are, two on either side obviously, and they'll just peek out from underneath the tablet and it'll be nice and neat. Now obviously I just round the corners off, and this bit up here won't be seen because it's behind the tablet, but I'll round these corners off and make it look nice before I actually fit it to the car. Right, although I didn't actually film any of the actual cutting out of it, this is what it looks like. There's the warning lights tucked up under the tablet there, and from my point of view, that's what it looks like. Nice and clear and in my eye line, so that's all good. They're not wired up yet, and that's the next job I think, but I also need to wire up this line lock button, so while I'm doing a bit of wiring I might as well do it all at the same time I think. So yeah, pleased with that. Need to wire these up, wire that up, and also do something about this panel here. It's always bugged me, this never works properly, it won't start on the key, it starts on this this momentary switch there. So I've got a push button for that instead. I've no idea why that doesn't work, but I'm fine with that. Turn that on, press the button, it starts, that's all good. This is currently the line lock button. This is redundant at the moment. But here's the thing, they're not in line and not evenly spaced, and it bugs me. So I need to sort that out with something. I've got a plan, but I'll get these wired up first, because as annoying as that is, it does all work, so I'll leave it alone. These don't work, I need them to work, so that's the first thing I want to do, is get those warning lights working. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to take the steering wheel off, because I think the steering column bearing needs replacing, because it shouldn't be doing that. So I'll pop the wheel off, see what's going on there, probably order a new bearing, they're not that expensive, and then I can get them wired in.